What is going on? I am back for the first day of September trading, and it was a dud. I'm going to recap today's trades. It was all on Tesla, so we essentially broke even. It's technically a $3 red day, but for all purposes here, it's a break-even day in my book on Tesla. And so I want to go over the trades. Even though we did lose 2, win 1, it's a pretty good sign, right? That we're breaking even when we're losing 2, winning 1. Winners are much larger than our losers. And let's walk through it. So first things first, I finished off the month of August a day or so early. And I was traveling to finish off last week. So Thursday, Friday, Monday was Labor Day, market closed. Tuesday, we're back. I didn't even get to the desk until about 9:30 a.m. Central Time anyway. So I really, maybe even closer to 10 a.m. Central Time. So realistically here, it's been a late start. And I don't tend to usually do that. I don't want to usually do that. But getting back, unpacking, cleaning up around the place, and then finally walking the dog, getting her ready. So we had to get the mindset. I was not going to just jump on the computer with 17 things to do in the back of my head. I wanted to do those things first, then hit the computer once we have now written down what we got to do for the day. So the mindset is there. So that was kind of step 1. Step 2, I was already coming in with a thought of like, maybe we don't need to trade today, right? However, there was some really good relative strength on Tesla, and there still is, and I want to go over that trade. So initially at 10:17 a.m., that's Central Time, I took a Tesla trade. Now, these all were a little bit smaller size, I believe, than full size, if I'm not mistaken. But I took a Tesla trade initially at 10:17 a.m. So let's go back and check on that one. So let's pull up Tesla's chart. Tesla, by the way, gets some positive news this morning, and the stock is ripping up. If we were to look at the 1-hour chart, right, before we even got to this blue line, which was my trade, we have to understand we had a big down day on, was that Friday of last week? Now, I was not here for that, but we had a big down day. So ideally, we're still trending up, I guess, over the past couple weeks, higher lows. Cool. But we are not near these highs, so we are not in like breakout territory on a bigger time scale, which would only kind of back into this trade and make me feel more confident about taking a long trade if we were near a breakout territory on larger time frames, but we were not. So we had to know that going in, which then kind of set up a second trade, which I'll show you that in a second. So I see Tesla, and I see this upper wick right here goes to a new high of the day. Then it comes back, consolidates, stays tight. Then it breaks that high of the day. I get in right here, was the literal top tick, and I get stopped out on the move back down. Technically put in a higher low, and then it went for more. And as you can see, it's going for more right now. But what I was also looking at was I want to pull up a book map and show you what I was looking at. Now, this might be confusing to some, but for essentially what we need to know is that if you go back on the book map, these green dots, right? This is where I got in. Now, there were some sellers by the heat map, these colors right here. There's some sellers just around where I was getting in. And so that could be some areas where there are some people looking to sell. And so then I ended up getting stopped out on this move back down. But then I was like, hey, if we break back through that, I want to be long. And that's when I got long and had the bigger trade for the upside. But in between, there was actually a second trade in there. So let's unpack that. Now, with the book map, really quick, again, I should mention, when we break through with some volume, some of these nice levels in the heat map, essentially like looking at level 2, but from a different visual perspective, we break through that stuff. That is a good look, a good sign for a breakout for momentum. So we broke those. I'm like, I want to be long, and that's when I got long on the third trade. So I got long really right in here on the third trade, which was the one that made $150. But then when I saw us push this high of day and we couldn't break through, and I started to see a little bit of relative weakness compared to the S&P at the time, I said, this could be a decent downside trade. And Tesla did come down, which is where I then said, okay, we are not near these highs yet for a breakout on the higher time frames. We are technically potentially going to put in a lower high. There's no way to know for sure. We've made a big move, and then we're struggling to break out. We're having these false breakouts. This could be a nice trap for the longs for a move back down towards VWAP and below. And so that's why I entered the second trade on Tesla. That was this trade at 10:22 a.m. And that trade was right in here. Okay, my stop loss was high of the day. I quickly would then realize, well, not realize, it just had it had relative strength. That is what it is. And I got out of it as we got up to here. Took the loss at that time, or that loss was approximately, give TradeZilla a second to load up. That loss is approximately $78. And then I come in and go immediately long in, shortly after that on Tesla. And then we have the nice move. So, it is what it is. I'm not going to complain. I'm happy that I was actually able to go break even despite having 2 losing trades, even though the overall idea here was originally right, just the timing was off. So I went originally long here, got stopped out, then went short with risks of high of day, which was a valid risk after a pop to high of the day there, and then quickly realized, hey, we've got relative strength here. It's not rolling over. Let's take the smaller loss right here, and then let's get ready to get long if we break. We then broke, get long quickly, have a nice move, and that was a massive move. And so it ends up making back our losses from earlier. It is what it is. It's not bad. I'm not going to complain. We're kind of getting back into the rhythm. I think that's okay to start the week off, to start the month off like that. I'm not mad about it. It is what it is. But it just kind of reassures that, hey, I'm looking for the right things. I'm looking for the right things. We're seeing the right things. And now it just becomes, okay, let's get the timing right. And when we see stuff that's setting up, and there'll be some trades that this is going to go right here, and it's going to just go. And when that happens, we're going to be great. But as long as we keep the losses small, we should be okay. In a perfect world, right? I had the idea, didn't make any money today, didn't really lose any money today, so I can't complain. But it does kind of hurt when you have the original play, just you miss the timing, you kind of threw yourself off. And you end up having, a break-even day when you really should have had a nice green day. But it is what it is. First day back. We'll be back on the saddle again tomorrow. And so we'll see what happens. We'll be tracking everything here in TradeZilla like usual. We'll leave links to this, to Bookmap, to TradingView, where we chart everything. All of the resources that I use in all my videos and just in all my trading in general will be linked up in the video description box down below, like always. And I'll see you guys in the next trade recap. Peace.